Okay, so in my last video where I showed my plants, there was a few things that I forgot to show, so that's why I'm making this video. And I thought, I was planning on just like doing a yearly update, but I thought, well, since I'm gonna do another video about my plants to show the things that I forgot to show in the last video, I might as well give an update as well, because quite a few things have happened. So this is one of my Kalanchoe plants, and it seems to be doing quite well. I recently repotted it into a much bigger pot. Because the root ball is quite small, I won't completely soak the soil right through, because if I was to do that, it will probably get root rot. So the amount of water that I'll put in there, it will probably be about, I'll cover the whole surface of the soil, and the water will probably be about that deep, and I'll just let it soak in. It takes ages to soak in. It's like the soil is really hydrophobic. Maybe it's a bit too, maybe the soil is a bit too well draining for this plant, but it does. I repotted it about a week or maybe a week and a half ago, and the plant seems to be doing okay. When I do water it, it does seem to get enough water because the leaves kind of end up looking more plump and shiny again. Yeah, not much to say about this one. This one, there's something about it that I forgot to show. Actually, I'm going to take this into the kitchen because the lighting will be better in there. So the thing that I forgot to show with this is there's a tiny little plant growing in a space in the soil there. So you can see it there. So I'm guessing one day when I had this on the windowsill and the window was open, a seed must have blew through and landed in here. Now the weird thing is that because it's a cactus, I water it very rarely. Maybe, I'm not really sure how often you should water cactuses. I need to look into that. But I'll water it maybe once every 3 weeks, or I think sometimes even a month or a couple of months can go by without me watering it. So it's strange how this plant has stayed alive, and it's hardly grown any bigger either. It's been in there for about a year, maybe 2 years now, so that's just really weird. And I think recently I noticed another one somewhere, unless it was just my imagination. Sure, I saw another bit of green in here somewhere. Okay, I think I found it. There's something there which looks kind of green, so that might be another little plant that's growing. And here is the flamingo flower. Now the strange thing about this is that all of these three flowers, they lasted for so long. I think maybe, sure it was more than 6 months, I think maybe even about a year. It's the longest flowers have ever lasted on this. And only recently have these two started to die. This one is still fine though. What I usually do is when flowers get like this on it, I'll just tug at the flower at the stalk. I won't pull too much because I don't want to damage the plant, but I'll just kind of pull it, and if it feels like it's really resistant, I'll just leave it and I'll try again in a few more days, and eventually when I pull on one it will just come out quite easily. Strange how the lighting looks so much better in the kitchen, but yeah, so this is that cactus, which I'm not really happy with the way it looks, but oh well, I'm not really sure if there's anything that can be done about it, to be honest. But yeah, I've put it in, it's quite top heavy now, so in its original pot, it's like if you moved it, it would like really sway, like it wanted to fall over. So recently I bought this new pot, which I think looks really nice, and it's in my favourite colour, and it's got like I think it's called Greek design. And at the same time I bought this one. It's the exact same one, but it's in purple, and I think this really suits the purple colour. I think it really suits the spider plant. I think this yellow one really suits this this cactus as well. And yeah, these pots, they come with their own kind of, so this is like a saucer for the water to drip into. It kind of, at first glance it just looks like it's part of the pot, like it's just the bottom of the pot, but you can actually take the pot off it and it's a little saucer, and you've got a few drainage holes in the bottom of the pot. So yeah, in my last video I was talking about how this looks really pale and really sick, and I couldn't really figure out what it was because I wasn't leaving it in really bright direct sunlight, which you're not supposed to, and that can make it look really bleached. I'm really sure I wasn't watering it too often, and I'm really sure I wasn't watering it too little. So I thought, well, the only thing I can think of really is maybe I need to start using fertiliser or something. Maybe it needs to be repotted, because the pot was quite small for it. When taking the plant out of the pot, it did look quite root bound. So what I've done is I've basically repotted it into a bigger pot, much bigger. I did that about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I've been fertilising it as well, but no change yet. I'm guessing if it was pale because it was root bound, I'm guessing it will probably take quite a long time for it to recover, because it's going to take a while for the roots to kind of grow out into the new soil, into the new space. So yeah, I'll just have to see how that goes. Okay, so these are the last of the plants. So not much to say about this one. This one, I thought it was actually dying. I thought, you know, maybe these plants, maybe they're only meant to like last for about a year or something. Like if they're in a pot and they're not kind of growing like naturally outdoors. And I did something different with it. I can't really remember exactly what it was. I don't know if it was. I'm sure I started fertilising it. I think maybe I started watering it more thoroughly. But ever since then, it's really flourished. I'll show you a picture of what this looks like just a few months ago when I thought it was actually dying. So yeah, you can see there's a massive difference now. So I'm guessing either it's because I started watering it more thoroughly, or because I started fertilising it. But you can see just lots of new growth. You can see a new flower developing there, so it's doing really well. But I think it does need to be repotted because you've got lots of roots coming out the bottom there. Then you've got these two. Yeah, I had to replant these because for some reason, like at the bottom of the stalks, they got really weak and just broke. Yet the stalks didn't look black, so I don't think it was root rot. I'm not really sure what's going on, and it's difficult knowing how often to water them and how much to water them, because obviously if I water them normally, they'll get root rot because I've not got a proper root system yet. But if I only put a little bit of water into either of these, then the water's going to dry up quite quickly and the plant isn't really going to get a chance to drink up that water. So it's kind of difficult to know what to do with them. But I mean, they don't really look like they're doing that well at all. This is another calanchoe plant. It's the same one as the one that I showed before in the living room, and I repotted this one as well. So basically all of these stalks, they ended up like just completely wilting, and I wasn't really sure what was going on because it didn't have root rot. I wasn't watering it too much, wasn't watering it too little, and I thought, well, maybe it needs to be repotted. So I've repotted it, and that's why I repotted the other one as well, even though the other one was doing well, because I thought, well, maybe that's getting root bound as well, because it's about the same size as this plant. So I've repotted it, and yeah, I've given it some life support. So I've basically put in this stick and put like a plastic tie around the stalks. This is another calanchoe. Not really much to say about this one. I think it might need to be repotted soon. The pot's kind of small, really. And these days I do seem to be having to water it quite often, so I might repot that one soon. So here we are under the stairs, and this is where I keep all of the stuff for the plants. So a couple of months ago I bought these two, I think they're 5 litre bottles of drinking water. The reason why I bought them was so I could put in fertiliser. I don't know if it's a good idea to keep fertiliser mixed with water in bottles. Maybe it can kind of go off, and maybe it could be bad for the plants. I'm not really sure. But yeah, so this one, it's a low strength one there, like cacti and succulents. And then this one is a normal strength one. Now the weird thing is that several weeks ago this one was really cloudy and this one was really clear, but now this one has gone clear again and this one has gone cloudy, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. And if I take the top off this and I smell inside, it kind of smells a bit funky, like maybe it's gone off. So I don't know if it's a good idea to keep kind of like fertiliser mixed with water in bottles or not. I don't know if it could be harmful to the plants. You can see I've got a really bad mould problem there. It's really damp under the stairs. So here is where I keep the pots. Got some Christmas themed ones there. Some of these pots I've bought myself, some of them my mum bought. My mum died last year and I've basically inherited a lot of stuff from her. So that's why some of these pots belong to my mum. So got lots of saucers here. Got like ceramic ones and terracotta ones. I do really like the look of terracotta. Got a massive pot there. Got some more pots. Some more pots in the back there. Including some terracotta ones. Got this weird kind of hanging one. Got lots of plastic ones. And in this bag is where I keep all of the different soils. So usually I've got it kind of like tucked in there, and the top of it is tied up with string. So we've got a cactus and succulent mix there. And actually received this today. I bought it off eBay a few days ago. So here we have the soil mix that I made myself. I made it for succulents. So it's got normal potting soil in there, and it's got like a really well draining soil mixed with a normal potting soil as well. I don't really know if it's that great for succulents. Those two Kalanchoe plants, I repotted them with this soil, but I'm not really sure if it's going to be that great for them or not, so that's why I ended up buying this. So I'll see how those two plants do, and any other succulents that I need to repot, I'll just repot with this repotting mix. If those two plants do really well, I'll know that I'll be able to use this in the future. If they don't, then maybe I won't bother using this again. And we've got some Irish peat moss with perlite there. And we've got lots of cocoa husk. So for the flamingo flower, I mixed this with the peat moss and perlite. And you can see in the bag there's just basically normal potting soil. And then lastly we've got some sheets of paper where I've written things down for some of the plants. So this one is for the flamingo flower, and I've written down what kind of soil it needs and humidity, just so you know if there's anything that I need to do with the plant or any of the other plants, you know, I can just read these sheets and know exactly what needs to be done. So I basically just got the information up online. So yeah, so when I look for information online, like for example, what kind of soil does the flamingo flower plant need, it's not like I'll just go onto one website, read what it says and then write that down, because the person could have got it wrong. You know, you can't believe everything that you read on the internet. So what I would do is I would just go onto like many different websites and see what they all say, like maybe 15, 20 websites. If the majority of them say a well draining soil and only one or two say that the soil needs to not be well draining, well, it's more than likely that it's true that it actually needs well draining soil. If many websites are saying that same thing, that it needs well draining soil, it's very likely that the one or two websites where they're saying it needs to not have well draining soil, it's very likely that they've got it wrong. So that's kind of how I go about. That's kind of how I go about finding the information and then writing it down. So I've got some things written down for a few of the plants, but quite a lot more stuff that I need to have written down. You know, for this one, Eonium, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Got like stuff written down for what kind of light it needs, and information about dormancy and soil and temperature, what kind of pot to use. You know, for the flamingo flower, we've got like things about repotting and feeding and whatever. So yeah, there's so some of these that I've not actually finished. There's still more information that I need to write down, and these are only like for just 3 plants, and I've got more than 3 plants. So so I do need to do quite a lot more research and write a lot more stuff down, because I just want to get things right, you know. I don't want to end up killing any of my plants. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching.